kit. I'll hold it like so. Take it, get into it. Running level 3+ plates here. Get her nice and snug, and boom. So there we are. Take our primary. I like to set the stock one end from all the way out. Get our sling out. Get nice and comfy, and boom.
We assess that the actions of Hamas and its allies will serve as an inspiration, the likes of which we haven't seen. Since ISIS launched its so-called caliphate several years ago. In just the past few weeks, multiple foreign terrorist organizations have called for attacks against Americans and the West. Al-Qaeda issued its most specific call to attack the United States in the last 5 years. ISIS urged its followers to target Jewish communities in the United States and Europe. Hezbollah has publicly expressed its support for Hamas and threatened to attack U.S. interests in the Middle East. And we've seen an increase in attacks on U.S. military bases overseas carried out by militia groups backed by Iran. Here in the United States, our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals or small groups, will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks against Americans going about their daily lives. That includes not just homegrown violent extremists inspired by a foreign terrorist organization, but also domestic violent extremists targeting Jewish or Muslim communities.
In Israel, border officials say they've seen a growing number of people on the FBI terrorist watch list trying to enter the country through the southern border.
CBS 8's Ursula De La Fey has the details.
Border Patrol officials say that between October of last year and September 30th of this year, 151 migrants with positive terrorism watch list matches were arrested after crossing into the U.S. illegally along the southern border.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So what I want to get into today and why I feel this video is so pertinent are the current events that are going on.
Well, what would you tell Americans right now about the threat today as compared to before?
This is not a time for panic, but it is a time for vigilance. We shouldn't stop conducting our daily lives, going to schools, houses of worship, and so forth, but we should be vigilant.
So even our leadership, even the head of the FBI is saying things basically along the lines that people are going to have to be vigilant that there is an event coming. Do I think it's organic and natural? No, but we're not going to talk about that these days. You know, follow me for more whenever I do my rants and things like that, and we'll go over that. But the threat of danger is there. We see all of our big podcasters talking about it right now, talking about being trained, talking about being prepared. And that's one of the biggest things that I want to talk about is a lot of us as Americans, we spend time in our vehicles these days. And so I want to talk about a vehicle kit that I am running. And this is something that I've kind of thought out and put together. And like a lot of YouTubers say, you know, especially on plate carriers, well, we'll talk about that in a second. But you know, the fun stuff is the guns, is what we're using for guns and whatnot. But I want to emphasize that you need to be ready in today's age. You know, if you want to protect your family and, you know, if you want to protect your coworkers or people that are important to you, you need to be ready. Now, you're gonna have to look into your state laws and follow that, because where I'm at here in Georgia, we have really lax gun laws. And so you're going to have to check with all that. So just to get that disclaimer out of the way. So one of the big things I want to talk about is what you choose to carry. Now for me, in my area, I'm not going to be running long range things. I'm in I'm in kind of a weird spot, but where I work is kind of suburban, but I'm very close to an urban center, not a giant urban center, but things are generally going to be closer quarters. They're going to be a lot closer quarters in battle. And so something I chose is this 10.5, my Mark 18 clone. You've seen this. Maybe I'll roll in some footage here, there, wherever. But you've seen this gun, and I've used it quite a bit, and I love it, and I'm getting pretty proficient. It's simple. It's, you know, it's got a surefire white light, and it switches over to IR. I'm not running nods with this or anything, but iron sights, basic sling, you know, standard capacity mags. I have an angled foregrip because it is a shorter barrel, and I do have a bit of a reach on me. So the angled foregrip helps me index, along with that little sling mount. It helps me index where I want to be with the gun, and it helps me control it. And so I feel like in my scenario, in my case, that a 10.5 is going to be the ultimate truck gun for me, because I can reach out to a few hundred yards if I need to. Don't plan on it, but I can be close range and engage like I need to, especially indoors. If something like that were going down, if an event like we're talking about were going down, it's more or less probably going to be close quarters, because if I'm far enough to get away and I can get my family away, my number one priority is to get my family away. So I'm going to get them away. And if I have that chance, I'm not going to go be a hero. That's my responsibility in this world, is to provide and take care of my family. Everything else is secondary. So with that being said, that is the truck gun that I like to use right here. Just a basic Franken build, Mark 18 clone, 10.5 upper. And so right here is the next thing I will don, which is a plate carrier setup. And real quick before I go over the plate carrier setup, I'll go over why a plate carrier, because a lot of YouTubers are going out against it, and I'm not a big advocate for it. But we're entering into the cooler months here now. But just like we rolled in a minute ago on the videos, the threat level is high. So we need to amp up what we are carrying with the threat level being high. Now, am I saying run out and buy a plate carrier? No. If you feel like you need one, cool, you know, do it if you had the financial means. But I'm not saying go out and go into debt over getting a plate carrier and plates. Run what you have. If you got a micro chest rig, I mean, if you've got just a regular TAPS chest rig, if you've got Alice kit, whatever, run it. Sometimes in the summer, I carry, with my truck setup, my Alice kit. But right now, the threat is higher, meaning that it's higher than the normal potential that you could get into something. You want to even your odds, maybe protect yourself. You know, if you have the vehicle for it or the means, maybe have this and that you throw on your family members or whatnot and go in and do what you got to do. But let's go over the plate carrier. All right, so let's go over our plate carrier here. This is an IR reflective patch. I'm running 3 of these standard capacity guys with the 75 grain pills in there. And then I'm running 3 mags here, standard capacity for your compact SIG P320 9mm variety. So what I do, this side is usually my last draw. This will be my technical first draw. So here I'm running just a little bit higher grain pills there. I carry Hornady Critical Duty in my daily. So moving right here, I've got my comms pouch. It's got my Bofang UV5R 8-watt extended battery. And then just to cover up the keypads, I have some glow sticks here. Never know when you need them for marking. And so I use the signaling device here to cover up the buttons. It's got a safety whistle here on it. And then on this pouch, I've got my NAR Cat 5 tourniquet. Thought it was a Cat 7, but it's Cat 5. And 2 more. This one can be used as a buzzsaw signaling device, and then just another glow stick. You never know. And so behind the signals pouch, I have some shears just hooked in there on it. Going to get a Velcro loop to hold it, but it stays pretty snug in there. And then back here, I have my Mora just a basic bushcraft style knife that's still, you can do some damage. It's pretty ergonomic. I like that it's small and it sits right here at a good place. So if you're kind of indisposed and in a position that you may need to use it, it's in a quick, good grab area on my offhand draw side. And then moving over here, we've got a quick detach pouch. So it pulls out really fast like that. It's going to be a bitch getting it back in there. And so right there, tons of packing gauze, medical tape, self-adhesive tape. There's like a little boo-boo kit back there. More smaller gauze. I've got it lined up in here. Quite a few gloves. Try not to lose everything. Packed in quite a few gloves and just a lot of these other wound packing gauze. A few bandages there. So just a super simple little bit of a boo-boo kit. There's some meds in there like Advil, NSAIDs, things like that. Maybe some Benadryl too for some type of allergic reaction. So that's just a quick deploy pouch on there. I keep my tourniquet on the other side. Probably need to get something to mark that, and that's just a standard 4 mag pouch. You can plus up 2 mags, and since I'm running 3 here, and this is already, as you see, at about 20 pounds, I'm not trying to run anything heavier with this kit. So this is my vest setup. It's a Condor MOPC, I want to say Gen 2, something like that. It's a really nice, comfortable vest. It's breathable. I'm running some AR 500 steel plates. Yeah, they're level 3 with build-up coat, and I actually got them in the Kevlar bags that you put the steel in. I'm going to go to Hesco's in the future, so please don't beat me up too bad. And on the front here, we're running a just a basic, I guess, high-speed placard. So our kit, I'll hold it like so. Take it, get into it. Running level 3+ plates here. Get her nice and snug, and boom. Probably killing y'all with the mic. So there we are. Take our primary. I like to set the stock one in from all the way out. Run our sling out. Get it nice and comfy, and boom, we have our sling. So we're able to run our weapon. So here we're set up. I can even give myself more if I want to bring my primary down to here, so I can put it around here. So that's important to have a sling on your rifle, guys. A lot of you guys getting new into this are running a rifle without a sling. You definitely want the right sling on there. And this is not an expensive sling. So you can run it down. You just want to be careful about it hitting you in the dick or whatnot. But that gives you the option to go for your sidearm and run it. So there we are. That's the full readiness kit. Terrorist, something going wrong. I'll call it the urban readiness kit. Urban attack kit. So there it is. She is not hot on there. But yeah, I like the way it's set up. We are with our sling. So we're ready. Got our Surefire. It's also a Vampire. Like I said, I don't have nods yet. So there's that. We can bring it down. Go for a sidearm. Which this is my P365, not my P320. But full on setup, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Send me your setups. I definitely want to see them. Also, something you definitely want to do with your kit is stage it so you can get into it. So what I like to do is leave this side loose and unbuckled. That's the other side buckle. So it's unbuckled here loose, and I'll just kind of fold it in like so. And I stage it like that. That way I can pick it up and throw it on pretty fast. You can see that the flag is reflecting. So I can pick it up and throw it on pretty fast and not have to sit here and fiddle with it. And that's the other thing is, if you're going to run a kit like this, If you're going to run a urban readiness kit, or even if you're in a rural area or out deep out in the country, if you're going to run a kit like this in a vehicle somewhere, you need to stage it, and at least once a week, get in a few reps of donning your kit and putting it on and making sure it feels right, and then maybe putting it back and staging it, because that's going to help you stage it to where you can get it on and be ready. Like with this kit, I've timed myself and like I've done all my checks and everything ready to go in about 24 seconds. Yeah, I could be faster, but you want to have some mental checks and checklists to make sure you have anything you're not rolling out without it. But with the essentials of this kit that I have for a fighting situation, within 20 seconds, I'm ready to go. Definitely under 30, I'm ready to rock and roll. Like, that's getting it out of the vehicle, out of its stowed place, on my body, ready to rock and roll. And that's definitely what you need to do. So let's talk about comms. Good kit. I've explained why I've chosen a plate carrier. So with comms, I live close or not too far from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now, a lot of you that have been in this game for a little while may know that city, may know of that city. Now, back in 2015, I want to say it was July 16th, 2015, there was a terrorist attack. There was an active shooter going on there.
Good evening. Our country appears to have once again been struck by an act of terrorism. The question tonight, from where? 4 U.S. Marines are dead, gunned down by a lone shooter during attacks on 2 military facilities 7 miles apart in Tennessee. The gunman, identified by authorities as Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz, was also killed. The motive for the attacks unknown.
And I remember that. I was in my town, which is some miles from Chattanooga. And Chattanooga, Tennessee is just over the border from Georgia, just to give you context. And during that time, my wife worked in Chattanooga at a call center there that was literally less than a mile. I want to say it's a quarter of a mile. I'll have to time it next time I'm up through there, from the recruiting center that guy shot up. That he went and he was actively targeting military personnel, and he went to the recruiting center and shot up a lot of people, and then he drove all the way over to Ross's Landing. And I can remember during that time, I was at my job working in an auto parts store, and I was so worried. I heard about it, and I was trying to get in touch with my wife, and I could not call her. And the reason that I couldn't call her is because all this chaos was going on. The phones were just overloaded. You couldn't get anything in during this time. And so that's one of the biggest thing with comms here to me, is going to be a radio or an ulterior mode to get in contact with people. And you can't rely on cell phones, because if an event, it doesn't matter what it is, if an event goes on and it logs down cell phones, you're not going to be able to use it. Luckily, we were able to get text messages, but they were very far apart. And the longer they were, it seemed like the longer it took to get to you. I'm not a tech expert in cellular communication, so I can't tell you what the deal was, but it seemed like shorter texts could go through, but you could not rely on that, because one text may take 30 to 45 minutes to get there. And not to mention, the city was locked down and it was chaos. We may go over that in a further day, but I figured I would explain that and talk about the comms here for just a second and why it's important, and I see a lot of people leave it out. Whenever that happened, a buddy of mine had introduced me to a Baofeng, however you pronounce it. One allure for me is my area, they used analog radios, like the law enforcement, police, fire, everybody uses analog radios, and the Baofengs was able to pick it up. And I didn't, at the time, I didn't have a ham operator's license. It was illegal to do so, but if in emergency, I could use that to communicate with emergency services. And so that's something you need to realize on your Baofeng or any kind of radio like that, is getting it, learning it, and knowing that you may have another way to get in touch with emergency services or your loved ones. You could learn the repeaters in your area and kind of just generally show your loved one, hey, if this happens, I'm going to put this radio in your car, keep it charged. We're going to check it every month or so and make sure it's good. But you turn it on, go to these channels and listen for me, and I'll get in touch with you if the phones don't work. That's one of the biggest things about comms I want to talk about here, and it's just as important as this, because having this and not knowing what's going on and knowing if your loved ones are okay, like this is going to be useless in that point because you don't know what's going on. And also the other beauty of it is you might get contact with other people to find out what exactly is going on when the information and internet and everything is out in your area. You know, a lot of people have gone to wireless internet in their houses. What do you think happens when this stuff hits? You know, what do you think happens? You're going to lose your total source of communication if you don't have analog or the old ways to do it. And so the last thing I want to touch on here is I like to keep boots, something like that. I generally keep a pair of hiking boots, but they're muddy right now, and I didn't want to get some dirty old muddy boots out here on my new to me truck. But yeah, it's a truck. We need to do truck shit, right? But either way, you need to keep a good pair because a lot of times with my job requires me to wear dress style shoes. So those are going to kind of be shit in doing things. So having a good pair of boots with your kit is going to be great to do. And also having a bug home bag. I don't do bug out bags, but a good bug home bag. As you can see here, I have water. There's additional medical in here. And I tell you what, if you want me to go over a bug home bag, go over the philosophy and talk about it, and if you want to see what's in this bug home bag, I know it's everybody's favorite U.S. military pattern, but get this video to 100 likes. You get it to 100 likes, I will break open this bag and go over it. But I keep things like this nice waffle style hoodie fleece. You want to have something warmer, you know, something to help discern you. See, it's in a neutral color, so you know, it maybe even some pants. We'll go over the bug home bag. But yeah, either way, this is my active shooter kit, the kit I threw together with everything going on now that it's starting to look like some kind of event is going to be imminent with the way everything's going. I mean, the U.S. Marines canceled their ball, CENTCOM, you know, that the Marine Corps ball is a big deal. And then I've seen some tweets about telling, you know, soldiers to ready up that are in active duty, and some of them inactive or are on active duty and all that, telling them to ready up, be ready, that things could be going down. And so all of this is going to cause a climactic event, I'm afraid. With everything going on right now, train with your kit. Whatever you're going to use, whatever you're going to get out there and use, get it out, put it on, grab your gun, shoot with it, train with it. If you can't shoot with it in the area you're at least put it on and hike up a hill or do some walking, do something, go around your yard. You may look crazy, whatever. Put it on and do something with it and get used to the way it rides. Change out the things you need to change out. You need to be actively learning this right now. We're getting past the cool to where we may need to use now. I hate to wave the red flag on all this, but I would hate for somebody to go down and then they had the proper gear, but they didn't have the training to use said gear, and they got into a situation and they're no longer with us. You don't want that to happen. That's all I got for you guys. So please be vigilant, like they say. Carry a gun, and that's all I got. Remember, resistance to tyranny is obedience to God.